Test 1. You will hear a number of different recordings, and you will have to answer questions on what you hear. There will be time for you to read the instructions and questions, and you will have a chance to check your work. All the recordings will be played once only. The test is in 4 sections. Now look at Section 1. Section 1. You will hear a telephone conversation between a receptionist and a woman making an inquiry about a photography course. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 4. You will see that there is an example that has been done for you. On this occasion only, the conversation relating to this will be played first.
Montrose School of Photography.
Hi, I saw your advert in the paper this week about photography courses. I just wondered what level the course is. Is it for professionals or...
Well, we run courses for all levels, right up to advanced. As we're almost at the start of term, most of the courses are full, but we do have a few places on the course for beginners, which is the one you saw advertised.
The receptionist says that they have places on the course for beginners, so beginners has been written in a space. Now we shall begin. You should answer the questions as you listen, because you will not hear the recording a second time. Listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 4.
Montrose School of Photography.
Hi, I saw your advert in the paper this week about photography courses. I just wondered what level the course is. Is it for professionals or...
Well, we run courses for all levels, right up to advanced. As we're almost at the start of term, most of the courses are full, but we do have a few places on the course for beginners, which is the one you saw advertised.
Oh, great. That's what I was looking for. It is a part-time course, isn't it? On Monday evenings.
That's right. It's from 8 to 10 p.m. We run the same course on Tuesday afternoons in the summer, but not at this time of year.
OK. And it starts on September the 9th. Is that right? Or is it the 16th?
Actually, the course itself starts on the 23rd, but before that, we're holding a taster session on the 16th. That's when you can come along and see whether the course is something you might be interested in before you invest your money in the whole 10-week course.
Oh, that's a good idea. And is there a charge for the taster session?
Yes, it's £25 for the 3-hour introductory session. The full programme is £215 for 10 2-hour sessions, which comes to £21.50 per session.
Sounds good. You're a bit cheaper than some of the other schools I've spoken to in the area. Are you still on London Avenue?
The main school is, yes, but the studios where your course will take place are on Crabtree Road.
Oh, right. Can you spell that for me?
Yes, it's Crabtree Road.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 5 to 10. Now listen carefully and answer questions 5 to 10.
So, what topics does the course cover? I do have a camera, but to be honest, I just point and shoot without really thinking about it. I'd like to learn how to use my camera properly. Then my holiday photos will come out better.
Yes, that's what most people say. Well, the course starts with an introduction to digital photography, as you might imagine. We don't cover the use of manual cameras on this course. Most people don't want that anymore, though if you are interested, we do run specialist courses for that.
No, I'm not bothered about that. What I'm interested in is how to take good photos of, well, everything really, not just people.
Well, the course covers that, of course, but also buildings and nature. We work on developing you as a photographer. You'll learn about how your camera works and also how to develop your own style. That's what will make your work more interesting.
Oh yes, I can see that. And what about trips? Getting out and about with our cameras, taking photos of things. Is that something you organise?
Yes, we do 2 optional trips, which generally take place at the weekend. These are part of the course, but you don't have to attend if you can't or don't want to, or whatever. One of them is aimed at photographing people going about their daily routines in the street, observing them shopping and so on in the centre of the city. That's just for an afternoon. The other trip is a full day. We take you to photograph birds and animals in the country park.
Oh, that sounds fun. Actually, I've been along to your school before to see some of the student exhibitions.
We'll display your work too at the end of the course. That's if you decide to do it. We have a little exhibition where members of the public can come along and vote for their favourite photo. That's in our gallery. The winner can choose between getting a discount on another course or some designer photo frames to display their work.
Great. Well, I'm definitely very interested. What do I need to do to register for the taster session? Do I need to come along to the school?
You can book a place now over the phone and just come along at 7 o'clock.
Great. Yes, I'd like to do that, please.
That is the end of section 1. You now have half a minute to check your answers. Section 1 is now complete. Now look at Section 2. Section 2. You will hear a human resources manager called Vanessa talking to new employees at a training day. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 16. Now listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 16.
Welcome, everyone, and thank you for attending this training day for your new job here at Torby Hotel. My name's Vanessa Marks, and I'm the Human Resources Manager. You'll all be employed in different roles, and I'm sure you'll enjoy them. The training day will consist of 2 sessions this morning and another 2 this afternoon, with coffee breaks in between. We'll start the morning session by showing you round, and then we'll come back to this room. Torby Hotel has been open for over 20 years, and we pride ourselves on offering an excellent quality service. Many hotels say they want their customers to feel as comfortable at the hotel as they are in their own home. We think people want to feel like they're away from it all, and we provide our visitors with a personal service and a bit of luxury they wouldn't normally have, which is what keeps them coming back. And it's just as important to us that our employees are as happy as our guests, so I'm sure you'll find the team friendly and supportive. Now, I'm afraid there'll be a bit of form filling to do today. You should all have received a new employee pack through the post containing your contracts of employment by now. If you haven't, let me know. That should be signed and posted back to us. There's a medical questionnaire I'm going to hand out in a moment. You can leave that with me. And don't forget to send in your bank details form if you want to get paid. That should also be in the pack. Obviously, health and safety is a very important issue in the workplace, and it's something we take very seriously here. We had planned to have a short talk, as usual, from our health and safety officer. He's actually off work at the moment, though, so he's left us a film to watch, which we'll do after looking at the employee's guide. This explains all the details of your employment, such as holidays, working hours, and so on. It shouldn't take long to look at. We'll take a break for lunch at about midday, and then we'll move on to some team-building exercises. You all have different life experiences, and I know that for some of you, this is your first ever job. So it's important to know something about who you're working with. Teamwork is essential when it comes to things like dealing with complaints from customers, for example, and feeling confident about turning to your manager for support when you need it. I'm sure you'll have lots of questions about your role, so we'll end the day with a question and answer session. I'll also tell you what to expect on your first day of work. You met your line manager when you came for your interview, and on your first day, he or she will introduce you to the rest of your team, provide you with your uniform, and so on. The following day, you'll take up your duties.
Before you hear the rest of the talk, you have some time to look at questions 17 to 20. Now listen carefully and answer questions 17 to 20.
We want our customers to enjoy every minute of their stay at Torby Hotel, and that's why we take pride in providing the best possible service. You've all been offered your jobs because we think you've got what it takes to do that. Being honest, punctual, and reliable are important in any job. In the hotel trade, what makes an employee stand out is their ability to anticipate what guests need before they ask for it. This is essential to great customer service. Also, if customers do ask for something, make sure you know exactly what they've asked for. We're an open-minded team, And we know that making mistakes is an everyday part of working life. And as long as you learn from the experience so you don't repeat it, your manager will be happy. We're always ready to listen to any ideas you might have about improving our service as well. So, that's what we expect from you. What can you expect from us? Well, there are lots of benefits to working here at Torby Hotel. We pay a higher salary than most hotels in the region and allow our employees longer holidays at full pay to show how much we appreciate the work you do. In addition to this, you can take advantage of our facilities, such as the gym and swimming pool, at a discounted price. Meals are provided free of charge during your shift in the staff canteen, but we hope you'll eat in our restaurant at some point, too. No reduced prices there, I'm afraid. We used to provide free accommodation at the hotel for anyone working away from home, but we recruit locally now. So instead, make sure you can get to work and home again easily and safely with our free staff bus. Okay, so if you want to ask any...
That is the end of section 2. You now have half a minute to check your answers. Section 2 is now complete. Now look at section 3. Section 3. You will hear two students called Justin and Myra discussing a project they have to do as part of their design course. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 24. Now listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 24.
Hi, Myra. Sorry I'm late.
Hi, Justin. It's fine. I've been reading through my notes for this project. Okay. So, we have to design something. An object that could be sold in the shops.
Yeah, and set out the project plan for it, the marketing and so on.
Yes. I was thinking, what about designing a new type of musical instrument? You know, most people like music, and I've played music all my life.
Yes, we both have. But we also know that a lot of music is done on computers now.
But many people don't like that, do they? They think it's cheating. I mean, I do, really.
I completely agree. But we'd have to come up with a totally different type of instrument. And I'm not sure we could do that.
I know what you mean. What about something for children to play? They like making sounds to music.
You mean using cheap things like bells and drums?
Not necessarily. We could try to invent a simple stringed instrument, for example.
But even if we did that, it wouldn't appeal to that many people. Our customer base would be tiny, I think.
Maybe you're right.
It's a pity, but, you know what you were saying about children?
Yes?
Well, I do think it would be good to get into that market. How about designing a children's toy?
Now that's a better idea. Though people do get tired of seeing so many different toys in the shops.
Yeah, there are so many these days. People go, not another new toy.
It's a good market, though.
Parents and grandparents buy toys for presents, for birthdays, whatever.
Yeah, it must be such a profitable area of business.
And they can be very simple and cheap to produce, but expensive to buy.
Yes, and we both have very young siblings. We're surrounded by toys, in fact. So we should find the creative side of it quite easy.
Well, we'll see, won't we? Is that decided then?
Yes, I think so.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 25 to 30. Now listen carefully and answer questions 25 to 30.
Okay, so now we need to agree a project plan. We need to discuss the stages in the design of the toy.
Why don't we draw a table? And then we can divide the tasks between us.
That's a good idea. Okay, so where shall we start?
Well, first of all, we need to find out what sort of toys children really enjoy playing with.
I know, my little brother's having a birthday party next week, so I could take him to it and have a chat with some of the parents while I'm there.
Yes. You'll need to have a few informal questions in mind.
I can do that. I can draft a few questions and take them with me.
I could actually produce a more formal short questionnaire and give it to the staff at the nursery my sister goes to.
That's an excellent idea. That should really help us decide what to focus on.
Once we know what we're going to produce, we'll have to think about the actual design, as we need to produce a model, don't we?
Yes, well, I'd be very happy to get together a lot of different materials from shops and places around the area. I mean, a lot of toys are made using plastic, but we would have to use something else.
Right. And I can put together a 3D model if you like. I could do it in cardboard.
Okay. As far as making the toy is concerned, we're going to be given some help there, aren't we?
Yes, I don't think we have to worry too much about that at the moment, but we do need to think about the advertising side of things.
I think the best thing would be to design a commercial.
For radio or TV.
TV, I think. It's hard to demonstrate a toy on the radio.
Yeah. OK. We'd need to come up with the different scenes that will take place during the commercial.
Yes, we could discuss those first, and then I could write it all up as a script.
It'll have to be very detailed, so you need to include absolutely everything.
OK. Well, you may have to help me out with that at some point.
That's fine. It's a big job.
What else can we do?
Well, what about a poster?
Uh-huh. It's a fairly traditional form of advertising. I guess the important thing will be that people notice it and it gives them the idea straight away.
Yes, it has to catch people's eye in some way.
Well, the critical thing is that it's colourful. Colour is something that people associate with children and toys, and that's how it'll get noticed.
I completely agree. A lot of posters are black and white these days, and that just wouldn't be effective.
So, shall we fix a date to review our plan and get started?
That is the end of section 3. You now have half a minute to check your answers. Section 3 is now complete. Now look at section 4. Section 4. You will hear part of a lecture about the psychology of personality. First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 40. Now listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 40.
Welcome to this lecture on the psychology of personality. Today I'll introduce the main theories of personality, but first let's discuss what is meant by the term. A brief definition is that personality is made up of the individual patterns of thoughts, feelings and behaviours that make a person unique. Our environment and the situations we encounter also play an important role in determining how different aspects of our personalities are expressed. There are several fundamental characteristics of personality. Personality is a constant phenomenon. People tend to react in the same way when they come across similar situations. For example, no matter how great our desire not to feel angry when we're woken up in the early hours by a car alarm, or our neighbour plays his music at full volume, our immediate emotional response will usually be the same. Personality influences our actions too, and causes us to behave in specific ways. If a kid keeps bouncing his ball against the wall outside, unless we make a determined effort to behave differently, we'll probably end up yelling at him in frustration every time, rather than asking him calmly not to do it. Personality is shaped by both psychological and biological factors, and is expressed not only in behaviours, but through emotions and thoughts, which have an impact on our relationships and social behaviour. What do we mean by behaviour, then? Well, it's how each individual reacts to the social and physical aspects of their environment. We all know people who seem a bit buttoned up, who don't appear to express strong feelings such as joy or anxiety, whereas another person's responses might be dramatically coloured with facial expression, gesture and voice inflection. When psychologists examine behaviour, they do so in different ways. Some theorists believe that the internal characteristics of a person dictate their behavioural pattern, whereas others hold that the behaviour of a person is a result of the external situation in which they find themselves. Of course, the way we present ourselves to the world and the way we are in private can be significantly different. How the world perceives us is a direct reflection of how we present ourselves to the world. Qualities over which we have little influence include our age, race and gender, but they certainly contribute to our personality because of how the world perceives us based on these features. The way we are treated can, in turn, affect our behaviour. For example, a person who continuously faces discrimination because of assumptions society makes about him or her may guard against this by coming across as cold or unfriendly. However, should we get to know him or her, we may discover a completely different person inside. Physical attributes, which develop over time, also contribute to personality, and include mannerisms such as speaking softly or loudly, the way we walk, eye contact and so on. If we speak quietly, for example, it's likely we'll be dubbed shy, whereas those with louder voices might be labelled extrovert, though in reality the opposite may be true. If we walk slowly, we might be perceived as relaxed. And in some cultures, if we don't look people in the eyes, they might think we're rude. How we want the world to perceive us influences how we present ourselves to others. Characteristics such as attitude, response, and general mindset create the surface of our individual personality. Attitude includes characteristics like friendliness or being standoffish. Response is whether we're arrogant or thoughtful, and mindset concerns whether we're generally upbeat or moody, all of which hang together to create who we are. Remember, however, that the aspects of our personality that we choose to display may depend on who we encounter. The personality you exhibit around me, a professor, for example, is probably very different to the personality you reveal to your closest friends. Dig a little deeper, and the private aspect of our being appears. Our cherished dreams that might seem childish to others, our goals, and the moral code we live by. Our ideas, daily internal monologue, and thoughts are also elements that make up the person that only we truly know. And only we can decide when to share these parts of our personality with others. Let's move on now to the different theories of personality.
That is the end of section 4. You now have half a minute to check your answers.